Hey, how's it going? I'm Nick, and it's a beautiful summer evening, so I just wanted to dig out one of my cars and kind of do a little once-over, show you some of the stuff that I have in my collection, starting with this, my RC10 B2. And this is actually the car that I ran at the 2023 Roar Nationals. I did the stock classes, so 17.5 two-wheel drive, I ran this. For 13.5 four-wheel drive, I ran my Losi XX4. And in stadium truck, I ran an Associated T3. And so being the stock classes, they were handout tires. I think it was the Proline Bald Eagle, and the S3 compound is what we ran on everything. So the tires have obviously been changed because I've been running this at other events as well. I ran it at the Vintage World Classic in North Carolina for the past 2 years. Actually, no, this past year I did not. Somebody else borrowed the car. I ran it at the first one, though. As well as the last race I was at the track in Gaithersburg, Maryland. And I ran this because this is pretty much how the car came off of that racetrack, with same electronics and everything. So this is just a little once-over for my B2, one of my favorite two-wheel drive buggies. At the front, you can see I have these 3D printed front arms. These are actually the prototypes for the Moto-Obscura machined nylon arms. These are actually SLS printed, nylon powder arms, and they actually held up pretty well so far. J Concepts wheels. Really thankful to J Concepts for reproducing the body and the wheels for the old B2s and the old RC10s. This is a J Concepts body as well, and it's pretty interesting in that it actually won the buggy concourse at the Roar Nationals. That was a really crazy experience in itself, but my paint job was enough for it to win concourse. I think a lot of people were just really happy to see the vintage cars there. In fact, that was one of the highlights of the event, the Roar Nationals, was just all of the people stopping by my pits and telling me how happy they were to see the old cars running, and they were telling me all sorts of stories about the cars that they used to have back in the day, and at the old tracks that they used to race at that don't exist anymore, but that they have very fond memories of this time period in RC history. Let's see, I've got titanium turnbuckles throughout. This isn't the motor that I ran at the Nationals. This is a Trinity RevTech X Factor. I think I ran a slot machine at the Nationals because at the time it was still Roar legal. Actually, now that I think about it, I think I ran 12mm big bore shocks at Nationals as well. So and then I moved back to the narrow body shocks. To be honest, I think I prefer the feeling of the narrow shocks on these older cars. Not exactly sure why, but I just kind of do. Got the reproduction B2 decals from NCI or MCI Racing. Moto-Obscura, obviously, that's my company, so I have to kind of put their name out there. Radio Impound Podcast, as well as Boki Racing. They helped me out, especially with double X4 bodies. And actually, they just came out with a X Factory X5 reproduction body, which is pretty cool. Kind of an uncommon four-wheel drive buggy there. So cool that they're supporting the vintage racing scene. As well as J Concepts, like I mentioned. A really big thank you to them for doing the B2 and RC10 wheels and bodies. Let me take the body off. Take a look. Under the hood, nothing real special. Got the Moto-Obscura carbon fiber battery strap here. And those are available for both the B2, the B3, and the T3. Just a Savic servo there, and this is an old, I think it's a Duratrex ESC actually. I used to have I had a hobby wing just stock in there for the Nationals. But I kind of moved my electronics around quite a bit. Like I said, this is a RevTech 17.5 X-Factor motor. Running the stock B2 slipper here. I think that's a 78 tooth spur, and I usually run like a 26 tooth pinion for 17.5. Somewhere around there usually is pretty good starting point. There's not a whole lot else to this buggy. I like the B2s just because they're real simple looking. They kind of, well, obviously they bridge the gap a little bit between, you know, the old aluminum tub RC10s and the B3. So they've got the seat hub set up really similar to the original RC10s. The B3s had the kingpin was, you know, the top of the kingpin was actually where the camber ball is as well, whereas this uses separate parts. One interesting thing is I kept popping this ball cup on this side at the Roar Nationals, and I only had a bright neon yellow replacement RPM ball cup, so I threw that on there, and it's still there. Oh, another thing is I've got the Moto-Obscura bleeder shock caps on the front here. Actually, I just threw those on for some testing, and I'm really happy with how those turned out, the bleeder shock caps. And from what I hear from other people who have been testing them out, they're really happy with them too. Those shock caps and the nylon machined front arms for the B2 are two of the products that I've designed that I'm most proud of, really. They really turned out well, and people seem to love them. It's really something going to vintage races and seeing other people having cars with some parts that you designed. That's really a great thrill. I don't go to these races to win, really. I'm not that great a driver, but when you see other people really trust in the products that you design, that's what really does it for me. So yeah, that's my B2. I think I'm gonna probably retire the body. I might paint up another body and still run the chassis. And I'll just keep the Concours winning body on the shelf, just to keep it looking all right. I'm definitely not a painter, but that's probably one of my better bodies that I've ever painted. I've tried replicating this scribble paint job as well, but I can never actually get it to look quite as good as this one turned out. So that's it. I peaked when it comes to painting bodies. Well, that's about it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll try to go through some other cars in my collection and make some short videos about them.